Thriving in a hyper-connected world is impossible without an understanding of the latest technology. Every year at Sibos, innovators and blue sky thinkers come together to exchange ideas. In this final chapter, Smith's Global Head of Innovation, Sean Sarginson, discusses Innotribe and the other technology showcases on display at Sibos 2019.
So at Sibos, we always have a huge emphasis on technology. Give us a little bit of a feel for what is in the technology agenda this year.
So this year at Sibos London, we've got the biggest representation of fintechs at Sibos ever. Over 100 fintech brands are joining us in the Discover Zone. And we have bank innovation labs, we have technology companies, we have fintechs in artificial intelligence, blockchain companies, the whole gamut.
Okay, and is that because it's in London, obviously a big fintech hub?
Yes, indeed. I think the interest and the fact that London is a fintech hub has made this an exceptional year.
All right, now you referred there to the Discover Zone. What do you mean by that?
So the Discover Zone regroups all of these fintechs. At the heart of it is the Innotribe stage, very well known at Sibos. It's about bringing the Sibos audience on a deep time journey, looking at the future of financial services and how technologies will change and transform that landscape. But
that's the Innotribe part of it.
Correct. That's the Innotribe part of it. So looking to 2030. However, we also have a Discover stage where we get the exhibitors of the Discover Zone to bridge that future to the present and understand what are the new technologies that they're applying today, what are the new business models that they're looking at. So for example, we'll have Pascal Coppens looking at China's new normal on the Innotribe stage, and then on the Discover stage we'll have 6 to 7 Chinese fintechs coming from Beijing to talk about what they're doing today.
I see. So one is futuristic and one is sort of practical reality today. Okay. Now look, looking ahead 20, 30 years, even 5 years in the fintech world is pretty difficult, isn't it? So who are you going to have to help you on the Innotribe journey?
That's very true. We're going to open with Brian Cox, the very famous physicist, English physicist, which would be a crowd attractor. Then we'll have people like Brett King, Dave Birch.
Very well known in the whole fintech business, yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and this is real blue skies thinking, okay, and looking at a world that we really can't imagine yet. And will there be sort of participation from the delegates?
Yes, so we encourage audience participation. There'll be questions, there'll be polls. We'll be looking at subjects such as, on the first day, trust and identity, so concepts like self-sovereign identities. The next day we're looking at tech and humanity and the wider impact of, for example, AI versus human intelligence and how we can combine that for maybe a different type of outcome. Then we've got the future of money on the third day, on Wednesday, which is a very famous session.
Very small topic, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and then going back to the Discover stage, so then people take their, they come out and basically sort of present and show and tell what they've got on offer.
Indeed, so the way we've approached the content there, we've crowdsourced it with our exhibitors in the Discover Zone. And so, for example, on day one, we've got the trustee of OBIE, Imran, presenting trust and open banking and what is that all about. On the second day, we've got people, the Chinese fintechs I mentioned, for example, or a lady from India talking about the innovations in payments in India. We've got Grab looking at Southeast Asia.
Very, very international. Yeah. And you're also having a hackathon now, so tell me about that.
Indeed, so we're looking at the future, we're looking at today, the present, but also actually we want innovation to be happening at Sibos. And so we've invited for the very first time over 20 developers from across the world, across the financial spectrum. So people from fintechs, from these technology companies, from the banks, and they're going to be exploring open banking and APIs. So we're hoping that over the course of Sibos, they'll be able to come up with some innovative mashup application that should be interesting.
Interesting there. So you mentioned open banking and APIs. I mean, of all the sort of technological fixes and moves ahead, I mean, is that the most significant, do you think?
Well, obviously, Sibos is happening end of September, and just a couple of weeks earlier, we've got the September deadline for open banking here in the UK. And so the banks are going to have to be able to provide access to their APIs to third parties. So that's really going to unleash the innovative potential of developers, and we're very excited to see what's going to happen around that space.
Sean, thanks very much. It sounds like a very exciting week. Thank you.
Brian. Thank you.